Hi folks, welcome to this edition of Broken Arrow in Motion. I'm City Manager Michael Spurgeon, and joining me today to talk about the 2018 General Obligation Bond Package is Broken Arrow Mayor Craig Thurmond. Mayor, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a great day to be in Broken Arrow.
It certainly is. It's a beautiful day. I want to thank you for coming on the show today to talk about where the City Council is with respect to the very important initiative we're undertaking this year, and that is the 2018 General Obligation Bond Package. So here's my first question. We've been working on this for about the last 4 months. Just give us a quick recap on what action the City Council has taken since January of this year.
Well, the City Council kicked it off and got it started with the concept of the bond, and then we've had 4 public meetings, which have really been good to get the input from the public. And we used the survey that we took last year and got information from the survey, put that all together, and you guys came up with $285 million worth of projects.
So Council had their first meeting in the middle of January, and we had those 3 public forums in February, which we had probably 300 or 400 people attend, and then we had one session last month. What was important to you about those sessions, and what did you hear from the community, Mayor?
Well, a lot of things. As we heard, streets are very important to everybody. The different projects, quality of life, public safety is very important. All of it's really important, and there really wasn't anything that people said they didn't want. They would like to have it all. Of course, no one wants taxes increase, and we were able to get to that point where you worked it down where we didn't have a tax increase. Okay,
so the next steps, we are at just under $211 million, and the package meets the council's goal of having a no tax increase. So what's the next steps in the process for getting to the actual vote in August?
Well, the next steps, as you said, it started at $285 million, and now it's down to just under $211 million with no tax increase. So the council has to approve that ordinance. And also pass a resolution to have it to go to vote on August 28th.
So will that happen this month, early June, a time frame when you think that'll happen?
I would think early June we'll probably vote on it, I assume, unless it's all ready to go at the next council meeting. But that's kind of up to staff if you're ready to go, we're ready to vote on it.
Okay. The last phase, public education. Can you talk to the citizens a little bit about what the council expects that the voters can see during the months of July and August?
Well, I think July and August we'll have public meetings. People, of course, can get on the website, get on Facebook and comment. So that's really good. And we'll have some public meetings. I assume probably around 3 public meetings that will talk with people and be able to present the projects that didn't make the cut. Which it's really tough when you start looking at the projects that every project on there was a great project. We had support for all of them. It was really the hardest thing to do was to agree to cuts. And I know we talked early on about it'd be nice if we could do 225 or even more. But the council had a mandate, as we all agreed, not to increase taxes. We don't want to increase anyone's taxes, but we need to keep the city moving forward. So that's where we're at, and I think as we educate the people, we'll put things out, I'm sure, in the Focus newsletter and get all of our citizens educated on it so they'll be ready to vote on the questions.
Well, you've been a part of several general obligation bond initiatives in your time on the City Council and had a lot of success. As you've looked at this package and as you've engaged with the community, what about it, Mayor, is important to you as not only an elected official but as a citizen? What do you think about it?
Well, I think it's a very good bond issue. There's really hardly anything on there that we could cut, and now we're down to the fact that everything on there is very much needed in our community. The streets, and we saw in our survey and our input in public meetings, and as a citizen, I agree, streets are something we really need to focus on. That's around 67% of the bond, and then we have public safety, which is so important. And in fact, we just found out a few minutes ago that the FBI stats came out, and we're the 9th safest city in the United States.
That's awesome.
And so that's so important for us to continue to focus on public safety and provide the tools that are needed so our public safety can continue to do an outstanding job that they're doing today. Quality of life, there's the really excited being and you being a military veteran, myself being a Marine Corps veteran. I'm excited about the concept of a military museum, a military center for all the veterans, for the VFW and American Legion and Vietnam veterans, Purple Heart. all those organizations will have a place they can meet and gather and do business. So that's exciting. Just everything on this bond is really the quality of life projects, the park improvements. We do an outstanding job with our parks.
Sure do.
So that's something that we want to stay on the cutting edge with the parks. So I'm just excited about every bit of it. The tough part of it is that it's a 10-year bond. So we're ready to start all this tomorrow.
Yes.
Getting it passed and having to go through the time to get the bond and get everything done. And as you've said before, this takes about 3 years just to get a road widening project from its conception and funding to get it done. And so we'll be anxious to see all these projects completed, though.
Well, let me just mention that this initiative was put together by the City Council. We've gone out to the public. We also went to our community partners at the Broken Arrow Public School District and the Chamber and EDC. And so I'm very excited about the fact that we have a lot of input. From your perspective, how important is it to have a partnership like we have in Broken Arrow in order to keep us all moving forward together?
Well, I think that as I go to national meetings, I talk to people about what the difference is between Broken Arrow and their community is that we have this team that we work together with the EDC and the Chamber and the schools. This team concept, everybody working together, we serve the same taxpayers, we all pull together the same community, and it's just so important that we work as a team. And there's a lot of cities I see that talk about this concept of working together, but we've been able to really make it work, and everyone puts their effort into it on what they want to see, but we all are going in the same direction. And so that's just what has helped us excel. I think one of the reasons that and the fact of our citizens and their involvement in our community has been really great, and that's also helps it excel where people aren't as apathetic as they are in some other communities. So it's really, you see that across the country where people don't really want to focus on the community, and in Broken Arrow they do. And we have a lot of participation, we have a lot of people that put input in. I just think it's why we're so successful, and we've gotten so many accolades over the last year or so because of from our Rose District being one of the outstanding main streets in the country to being the 29th most livable city and the most livable city in Oklahoma, which I thought was important from USA Today. And then today the FBI saying that we're the 9th safest city in the country. That's out of 18,000 cities and towns, that's really saying something. So we're doing a really good job, and the input from our citizens and the participation from our citizens is why we're such a great community.
Well, one more thing before we go here. Later this week, you and Assistant City Manager of Operations Kenny Swab are going to Washington to meet with folks from the Department of Transportation on behalf of the council and the community. You want to talk about that real quick about your visit to D.C.? Well,
that's really exciting. We get the opportunity. We had a Tiger grant that was not approved, and so the Executive Office of the White House that works with Intergovernmental Affairs made a appointment for us to go to D.C. and meet with DOT and spend a couple hours with them and go over our application line by line to see what we can do different so next time we can get approved. And this is really important to be able to get some federal funds back to our community and have the opportunity to meet with, we're actually meeting with the person that approves the grants, so he can tell us exactly what we need to do, and we are hoping to come back and make another submittal in just a couple months to meet another deadline and hopefully get our funding. So that's just an amazing opportunity that we haven't ever had before.
Well, let's talk about what that translates into. These grants are millions of dollars worth of grants, so if we're able to win those grants, how does that, because you say it better than I do, how does that help our city when we do that in terms of what we're trying to accomplish?
Well, it helps a lot, because if we can get, this particular is a $5 million grant. If we can get $5 million, then that means that there's something else we can do that's on our bond issue that we had to remove. And if we can get enough federal funding, there's an opportunity that in just a few years to do another bond issue and continue to fund these projects that are so needed in our community, roads and all the other projects that are needed. So this is an opportunity, and the federal funding is appropriated to go somewhere. So it's, we should be able to get the money in Broken Arrow, because some city across the country is going to get this money, and we think it should be us, and our citizens should be able to see their federal dollars, tax dollars, come back to Broken Arrow. So that's what we're trying to do, and we've worked really hard over the years trying to do that, and staff does an amazing job on getting grants out and getting ones approved. We have one approved that we're working on right now if we can get through the red tape of federal government. So we're hoping to get another one for this one, hopefully for $5 million, and this is enough. We talk about $5 million being able to do a mile of road. This is enough to do another mile of road somewhere. So it's important that we get these grants, and I'm really feel honored to have the opportunity to be able to go and represent the citizens of Broken Arrow and be able to talk to the Department of Transportation and find out exactly, get some insight that not many people in the country get that opportunity to get. So we'll have that insight and we'll be able to do something very, very good for our community.
Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Broken Arrow in Motion Take 5. Anything you'd like to finish up with, Mayor, about the bond package?
Well, I just want encourage people to get out and vote on October 28th. This is important for our community. August 28th.
Hardly ever get a chance to correct the mayor.
Yeah, so don't vote on October 28th because it's too late. So we want you out there August 28th and get out there and vote and make sure that you support what's going on in our community, and we just really appreciate the citizen support.
Well, Mayor, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate you coming on and updating the voters on what's happening both with the package as well as what's going on with your upcoming trip to Washington. That's all the time we have for this edition of Broken Arrow Motion Take 5. We hope you learned a little bit about the package, and we'll keep you posted as we go forward. Until then, have a great day, and I hope to get to see you around town.